Okay, so today I'm going to be showing some footwork drills that can be done with the agility ladder that are really good for martial arts. Footwork is one of the most important things in a martial arts practice. In Kendo, they talk about the order of importance, with the eyes being first, the feet and the legs being second, the stomach or courage third, and then fourth and finally being strength, and in that order. So feet and legs are second, which is pretty important. Overall, my stance is not straight lined, which is really good at range. Most of the time, I'm looking for a balanced stance, so my feet are at an angle, not in a straight line, not too square. I think closer fighting or infighting, the more square that you want to be. But as you get away from your opponent, you should slowly start to change that up. So the things that I'm doing with my hands, you'll see kind of this motion here. It's almost like a pummeling motion where I'm like sneaking in through the person's elbow, but it's also the wave motion. We call it wave motion. It's basically a middle parry. So if a kick came to the inside, I'm pushing it to the outside, parrying that. So I'm doing that motion with every single step, so that if my right leg steps, my left hand is coming up, and if my left leg steps, my right hand is coming up. It's loosening up my body, so I'm moving my spine and rotating my shoulders, and they're going in a circular motion. So it's really good for warm-up. So with this last one, I was basically focusing on what we call the basic step. And the basic step is, if you're moving forward, the front foot moves, then the back foot moves. If you're moving backwards, back foot moves, front foot moves. Basic step is good for fast counter-attacking. It's good for moving in and out really quickly. Basic steps, you move just a little bit. An important thing to understand is every time you move in, that back foot needs to follow so you can deliver the power with your back hand. If that back foot doesn't follow, your stance may be too wide, or it may be that you're having too much weight on your front foot and you don't have that back foot to push off to connect that chain from the floor all the way through to your punch. And then I'm also incorporating the outside 180 pivot to the other side of the ladder and continuing on. Me, I'm going down some, back some, switching stances, moving not just all the way down the ladder, but switching which direction you're going often, adding those outside pivots, adding the foot switch, just adds variety. Adding spontaneity to your movements is good if you want to be an effective sparrer. If your rhythm is constant, then it's easy to pick apart what you're doing and understand your game a little bit. I also want to say that getting rhythm first and understanding the rhythm as a beginner is also very important, because if you don't understand rhythm and you can't get in the rhythm, then you'll never be able to break it. The shuffle cross. So I'm not doing a basic step, I'm doing a shuffle step where my back foot would move forward if I'm moving forward. And every time I do one of those shuffles, I'm watching where my left foot or my front foot is. And with the shuffle, I'm moving a greater distance than with the basic step. So I may skip one section of the ladder, or two, or up to even three as I do the shuffle before I throw my cross. I'm also making sure that I get full extension on every punch and rotating my shoulders, hips, and my back foot heel comes up, so that I get the full range, and I'm also generating the total amount of power that I can and getting my full body weight behind it. My head is also moving side to side as I'm doing the shuffle and then as I'm throwing the punch. And I'm using just one side of the ladder as kind of my center line, so that I'm getting off of that line of fire. I also added the pivot, so I will shuffle forward, throw the cross, then use the momentum of that punch coming back to turn my shoulders and do that 180 pivot. Last one I did, BJJ Scout did a video on it and they called it the bump. It's also just a shuffle step, so the feet are taking its place, or a pendulum step. The bump is interesting because my head is also moving side to side, and with the bump, it's used to kind of get off to the angle and then throw a strike. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm shifting my weight off to the angle and then throwing a punch at a 45-degree angle. So I'm not punching straight down the line like I do with my shuffle cross. I'm popping off to the angle with that shuffle step and throwing the punch. Again, my head is moving from side to side as I do that shuffle step or that bump. right when I throw my cross, I make sure that my head is going a little bit faster because I'm imagining something is coming straight down the line, and I'm throwing my feet, doing that shuffle, and then right over the top, their punch is coming right down the center, and I'm going to the side, and then my punch comes right over top of it. So they're missing, and I'm throwing my cross or hook or whatever that may be. Anyway, hope you like the drills. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Like and subscribe, lets me know if I'm doing things well, and I love the comments. The feedback is the most beneficial thing to me. It's the whole reason that I'm putting things up on the internet, to get feedback, but then also to show people the way that I train.